In the Nissan team, all of these drivers are virtually household names. Bond, the 75 Australian Touring Car Champion, 3-time Australian Rally Champion. The siren sounds and they prepare for a start. Their 6-lap journey for the Nissan Turbo Super Challenge, round 3, heat 1.
They're racing and getting away very quickly. On the inside was Allan Grice, but racing up smartly was Gary Scott. They're coming up here 4 wide, looking for racing room, going into the right-hander at Valvoline. That's how close they are.
Gary Scott out wide.
Beautiful, but he's boxed that, and they all get hooked up, coming out onto AGC straight. And here comes the charge of the small car brigade down towards the Castrol S's, with Allan Grice still able to hold the lead. Good challenge going on here for second, and look at them approaching this corner 4 wide.
Dick Johnson slots into second spot despite the biff in the side from Gary Scott. Got Scott still holding down third, up on 2 wheels, something through these S's.
Seton seems to have come through pretty quickly as well.
Notice the car lose traction there, the rear wheel off the ground. Nose to tail, like stream through Bowe corner and back onto the main straight, coming down to complete 1 lap.
Here they come past the strike for the completion of the first lap. Still 5 remain, and Grice firing along beautifully. Dick Johnson has dropped into second spot. Gary Scott up there into third as they make the run to the right-hander at Valvoline. And at this stage, Allan Grice very, very comfortably in front.
Grice won one of the 2 heats in Adelaide last week, determined to continue the good work. Steered clear of the early trouble and has opened up a gap now of about 30 metres on Dick Johnson.
Johnson could do with a second place finish. Had mechanical troubles in the last round at Adelaide, dropped a heat.
Gary Scott using all the track in third place. Glenn Seton holding down 4th.
Working out the suspension components. 2 glow weave again. Still Grice the leader with a break on the field as they come out. There you can see Dick Johnson. Gary Scott is the next one to go through, followed by Glenn Seton, of course. Portman is there, keeping company with them.
Steve Masterton, too, slotted into 5th, 6th spot at the moment. Over the start-finish line again. Grice out wide. Getting ready for the fast line through the corner.
The cars this weekend are using a new Goodyear Vector tyre, change of brand from the first couple of rounds. Very deep tread in these tyres.
Very deep on that corner, too.
Helps when they get into the rough.
Top 3 have opened up a gap.
Keeping in mind for the second heat, when the grid is reversed, the winner of this heat will go to the back. There's Peter McKay, still running at the tail of the field, position 12, but he'll start on pole position for the second heat, and they add up the scores.
Because the cars are drawn out of a hat. Well, not the cars literally, but the numbers are drawn out of a hat, so the drivers don't know until just before going out onto the circuit which car they're going to get. All identically prepared, in theory. 3 laps remaining as they go over the start-finish line again, and still Grice leads Johnson, Gary Scott, Glenn Seton, then Jeff Portman, Steve Masterton, and in car number 8, Steve Masterton, mentioned him twice.
Through Valvoline corner, a little bit of dust storm there as they're using all of the road, particularly the dirt ridge off the exit to the turn. They come down AGC straight, then turn into the Castrol S's, where we pick up our race leader, Allan Grice. That'll give you an idea of the contortions through the bend.
George Fury making up a couple of places back there in the field too. He also was a heat winner in Adelaide last week and would like to improve his points position.
Gary Rogers in car number 6, the victim of the Upside Down Club at Adelaide, and he has McKay behind him running in 12th.
That's the way they were running in Adelaide when he got tipped over.
Exactly. But they've all sorted themselves out today. We haven't had anyone parked on the infield. Allan Grice doing a great job there.
Johnson's getting closer.
Yes, getting a little bit closer is our Queensland driver, Dick Johnson. Not back behind them too far is Scott. There's one off the course. It looked like Seton, who had dropped about 3 or 4 cars in that corner. And as they go down towards the Castrol S's, Allan Grice is going to find a Queenslander very, very close to him by the time they reach Glowweave. Grice and Dick Johnson. Coming down to the right-hander now at Glowweave, that brings them back onto the straight with 1 lap to go this time around.
So last chance for Johnson. Can he apply sufficient pressure to Grice? If anybody can, Dick can.
We'll have a look as they come along the straight. Johnson losing out just a little bit in the run up to Valvoline.
He's going to have one last chance, and
he's got a little muffler problem too hanging under the car as Tricky Dick.
Yeah.
Exhaust pipe. He's hanging in there and going after Grice. They're on their final lap. Gary Scott is back in third, but not close enough to make a challenge for first or second.
Here's the last chance coming up for Johnson through the Castrol S's. He knows it too. Keeps the foot flat going into the corner. Closes up within a length. But obviously the drag under the car is not doing him any good.
Coming down to Glowweave for the final time, the right-hander. So Allan Grice, by virtue of starting from pole position, has been able to dictate the pace of this event. Comes out of the corner and down now towards the checkered flag. Dick Johnson still holding down second, and that's the way they're going to finish. And across the strike, the win goes to Allan Grice in car number 1. So that's going to make it interesting for the second heat coming up a little later in our telecast. Confirmation of placings, Grice the winner. Dick Johnson finishes in second, and Gary Scott of Queensland third.